There we go. All right. All right. How we doing, guys? Welcome. This is the Marvel Minute. I am Brandon, as always, joined by Trevitt. How we doing, Trevitt?
Not bad.
We're getting this Secret Empire Omega #1 done and out of the way for you guys.
Yay!
In a busy week of comics, this was really kind of overlooked. I totally really forgot it was out until I looked at the list and put up the poll because I usually throw #1s up there, and this is why that got that treatment. Not even really thinking it would win, but here we go. It wins, beats Runaways #1 also, and the third book. Do you know off the top of your head? Because I don't.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't. I'm totally drawing a blank right now.
Venomverse 2.
Venomverse 2. There it is.
Yeah, so our long-running joke goes one more week, and it beat both those books out. And I would have rather have had either of those two books over this one, but you guys, of course, get the choice, and we're doing what you want. So Secret Empire Omega #1. Writer Nick Spencer. He wraps up his epic, I guess you could call it epic story. Art team, Andrea Sorrentino, Joe Bennett with Joe Pimentel, Scott Hanna, Rachel Rosenberg. It's a Marvel Comics production. I don't know what that with means. Do you think that was he like his inker?
With Joe, yeah, I think he's the inker.
Okay, all right. I was like, what does he jump in when Joe Bennett's hand gets tired? The other Joe takes over. Just trading up. I didn't know what was going on there.
I think that's why it says with Joe Pimentel, Scott Hanna, and Rachel Rosenberg. Because
they're a team too.
Color. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I got you. Makes a little more sense now. But we're gonna get into the blurb. What are you gonna say?
I just realized something that's crazy. It has nothing to do with Marvel. I don't even know why I'm bringing it up. But I got Bloodshot Salvation digitally. It comes out next week. I got it this week. No wonder why nobody had it in their pull pictures.
What do you mean? You got the book this week?
Yeah, it leaked a week early.
The hard copy or the
digital copy?
Oh, the digital.
I got the because everybody I talked to was like, "Oh, I didn't see it at the store. I would have gotten it." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "It came out on the torrent." So I was like, oh. I got it a week early.
Just because the review copy snuck out, because Valen always pushes the review copies out a week early.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to get into the blurb here. Then we're going to spit the bit about this Omega issue. So who's in the mood to beat a dead horse back to life? Apparently Nick Spencer and Marvel, that's who. All in an attempt to get $5 more from everyone as they're treated to an epilogue that really doesn't do much of anything or go anywhere interesting in particular. So sit back and soak up what the Marvel Minute listeners are trolling us to talk about this week. Secret Empire Omega #1. And there better never be a #2. So yeah, this issue starts off with narration from the brand new old Captain America, who's back, and he's got his hoodie on, and he is breaking into some super secret prison called Shadow of Pilar, which is off of American soil, but American run kind of secret prison, long abandoned. There's currently only one prisoner there. And that is Steve-O Rogers, who is the doppelganger to the Good Cap. There's actually, this is my favorite page of art in the whole book, showing like Cap's path sneaking through to get to the cell. Do you like that page?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I stared at it for a while. But did Captain America steal someone's eye to break into this thing?
You know what? It made me. It looks like that thing that Loki used in the first Avengers movie when he took that guy's eye out.
Like. and if you look in the panel like up above before he puts it into that like eye sensor, there's some dude holding his eye or holding his face.
Oh
like
yeah.
Stole his eyeball.
Yeah, maybe he took a copy of the iris or whatever.
Yeah, and it just hurts like hell. I don't know. But yeah, Cap's usually on the up and up with S.H.I.E.L.D., and he's just flat out pulling eyeballs out of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, at least from the looks of it here. So he's really on a mission to get to this cell where Steve-O Rogers is. He scans this retina, gets on in there, and there's no like bars between them. There's no secret meeting room with glass between them or nothing. They're literally face to face here, and they're going to have a little chit chat for pretty much a large majority of the issue. So so I said this reminded me of, like, you know, when the presidential debates or the big debates are going on right before the election, and they give them like 3 minutes to get their answer out, and they like ring the bell when the time's up. Like, I felt like this is what was occurring between the two Captain Americas, really for most of the issue, because we get, you know, Nick Spencer's wet dream where he gets to debate semantics and politics with himself as if he's drawn as Captain America. So yeah, I don't know. Do you want to add anything to like what Evil Cap is saying? Because he pretty much takes the majority of the page space this issue, just rambling on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah, he does. He does. I mean,
really.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say a couple of things.
I was just gonna do the summary of it. I think what it comes down to at this point, at least the first quarter of the book, for the most part, he's basically saying, I basically did nothing wrong. You know, he emphasizes how the rules suck and they're meant to hold people down in a way.
It's crazy because in the Captain America run, they dedicated, like, you know, I mean, it was probably like I think it was a whole entire story arc where Maria Hill, it was the trial on Maria Hill, you know, like after she got found guilty, they had what's her name, Sharon, running S.H.I.E.L.D. for a little while, and you know, she wasn't. So they asked who should be running S.H.I.E.L.D. and you know, Steve didn't want any part of it. I mean, honestly he did want it, but he you know, he was like, oh, I don't want to do it, blah blah blah. And she goes and she recommends him, and he kind of, like, from behind the scenes, without anybody realizing it, pushed all this stuff and tricked everybody into like putting him into that position. You know what I mean?
Being the like chess master behind the scenes, putting all the pieces into place so all the dominoes would fall, and that would happen for him.
And tricked them into the S.H.I.E.L.D. Act, and like he even set it up that like Quasar, like when they were training Quasar, he would hinder her training so she wouldn't get powerful enough to go against him.
Yeah, so that's why I kind of say it's like semantics, because he all plays stupid, like, oh, I didn't do anything, people did this for me, but really, like, it was because of the things you were doing in the background. It's not necessarily of their own free will, you know.
He's acting innocent, but he did trick them all into it. And in the S.H.I.E.L.D. Act, which was the biggest fuck up on the face of the planet, gave him the power. Like, whoever was the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the time of in a state of emergency and martial law, the person who runs S.H.I.E.L.D. becomes like the end all be all for all law enforcement and military. He makes all the security decisions for the country. So like they handed over the country to him like willingly. So I mean, that's the point he's driving at.
Yeah, that's what he's saying here. So we take a break from Steve-O preaching, and we go to like a funeral scene of Black Widow, who looks like a teacher in her funeral picture, doesn't she? Doesn't that look like a picture of teacher in fucking school day? I mean, I did like 10 years. That would be like my teacher picture every year. But anyway,
blazer.
Yeah, we get like Hawkeye, who's like having an emotional breakdown because Black Widow. You know, were they dating for any longer than just the events of Secret Empire?
Well, you know, they've always had that close relationship, but no, they just started banging during Secret Empire.
So yeah, so he lost his girl, so he's really sad. I don't know. Yeah, they don't show you her, which leads into the next part, which we see is Bucky. It took me a minute to realize it was Bucky until the next page, really, where Bucky's like,
Let me ask you.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you one thing real quick, right? See, now we're looking at this page right now, right? Now, would you think the same guy who drew this page drew Red Hood and the Outlaws this week?
Yeah, no way.
Because it's the same exact guy, and I was like, oh my god, it looks almost nothing like it.
I think it's just because of the way it's like just colored so dull on purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And the inking isn't really super detailed. But anyway, like it's just Bucky, you know, going through memories of him and Black Widow, and he's like, I'm I'm not really sad I lost a former lover. He's like, I still think she's out there. So I don't know where he gets this idea. There haven't really been any hints, have there?
It's right on this page where that guy gets assassinated.
Yeah.
It's like he's there, like he gets the intel that guy's gonna get assassinated, and the way it's set up, the way the shot was taken, like it's completely Black Widow's MO from her assassination days, and he recognizes that because they have a history back like when he was the Winter Soldier.
I thought before she took the shot, because I got that part, but I thought before all that happened, like those events, that he was already hunting her down. Is that, or he's just following up on a separate non-related lead, and this is when he thinks it's Black Widow?
No, I think you're right. I think he was already hunting her down, like he through the grapevine, he heard some noise that, you know, it could be her, and then he went to check it out, and then he sees the MO, and he's like, oh shit.
Yeah, he thinks it's her.
It is her. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a weird twist, because there weren't really, I don't know. I mean, I haven't read every tie-in, but I didn't see any hints as far as in the main book of her not being dead. Aside from, you know, Kobik changing shit when she came back, you know.
Yeah.
You know, they have the funeral scene, and then 2 panels later, like, you know, take the impact out of that funeral scene, so Black Widow is possibly alive still. Really kind of tying up that thread. Then Hydra Cap, we move back to him, and he continues to go on and on about, you know, how people got a taste of this Hydra America, and they'll always remember that. So when things go bad next time, you know, it can always happen again. And, you know, reminiscing about what he saw when things were changed for that brief moment in time. And I don't know if he goes on in this part or just the next part about how he, even though Cap's like, Kobik changed your thinking into thinking the Nazis won the war and all that, basically, you know, and that the good guys changed it into their favor with the cube. He's got it all mixed up, and they're debating back and forth about this, about who's right and who's wrong. And then we check in on new tie-in. And this is like the California area of the United States, where they handed that over to the mutants to be like their safe haven. Really, kind of, because Captain America was still always going to dick them over in the long run. But
yeah.
so you get this moment where Emma's just looking on, you know, as things go back to normal and the military moves in, you know, kind of telling the mutants to disperse. As people come back to probably their old homes, I guess. I don't know really what's going on here.
I think they're knocking down like the castle that they had built.
Yeah, like any new structures that represent this, you know, reign of Hydra, they're knocking down is the gist I got. The mutants aren't real happy that Sentinels are present. Yeah, they're not thrilled about that. Beast then pops up to chat with Emma a little bit, and I said this is like Beast almost being a full-on bad guy at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just like, we should just maybe keep this, and maybe we should fight. Like, almost like dropping seeds of doubt in Emma's head, because she's just going to go along with it almost, you know?
This scene pissed me off so bad, because
I'm glad it did you too, because I at this point, I was like almost done with the book anyway, because I was really just bored with politics. And
you know what else, though?
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say, it sucks all the life out of the ending, even though it wasn't a good event to begin with anyway. I mean, it was better than this, but it sucks all the air out of Inhumans vs. X-Men End when she goes all nuts and becomes a villain, because now what? Everybody's accepting of her, and it's so like she was supposed to, like, remember the end? Like, she puts on that new suit.
She went all psycho biker chick.
Yeah. And what happened to that? Like,
she was no longer the White Queen. She was like the Black Queen. Yeah.
And she was all fucking crazy looking with that weird friggin' helmet from Spaceballs that she had on. And
yep. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. And she's all in white here, and kind of just like, nobody's going to remember me being good here. They're just always going to still remember the bad me. And this is just going to be forgotten because of the Hydra reign, when really it was something more than that, and it was something good, at least in her eyes. You know, like, she was still really
Yeah.
influencing Zorn to control the mutants that didn't agree with her and locking people up that didn't agree with her.
And even Beast is like down with her at this point too. He's like, "Oh, look what you did! You gave us a glimpse of what we could have, what we could have been." He's like, "You know, the mutants are gonna remember this forever." And like, just, come on, stop licking our balls.
Like Beast is advocating for here, basically an entire segment of the race in the United States to just go to California and that be theirs, and no other race of people be allowed in. That's kind of like what he wants to happen.
We want to insulate ourselves and treat humans like second-class citizens instead of vice versa.
Right. It's like such a narrow-minded point of view and just really stupid. And that's all we get of the mutants, where they end up just deciding, let's let things go back to normal.
And the X-Men books will never touch on this, probably.
No. And Beast looks like shit. Like, just to be honest, like Beast looks like a troll in some of these panels. Like, he doesn't look like, not even.
He really does. I mean,
looks like in this one he looks like Shrek.
Yeah, he
the
does.
Middle panel.
He fucking does. He looks like Shrek. And this is. I mean, I love Joe Bennett. Like he did Deathstroke in the beginning of Rebirth. Like he did half of those first 22 issues with Carlo Pagwalian, and like he did that Red Hood issue. He's been freelancing all over the place, and his art's always great. But right here, it's
it's
I guess he gave all his energy to Red Hood this month.
Yeah, it was almost like Sorrentino ran out of time to finish anything that wasn't the splash page, and he's like, can we get somebody to do like pages 5, 6, 12, 13, like shit like that. Where are we at here? We move back to the Caps, continuing to talk. They're really kind of having like a Bendis back and forth conversation here at this point. Cap finally starts speaking up a little bit. The panel looks cool, like the splash page panel with the upside down dudes and the right side up people, like just kind of showing you everybody involved in the event. But I don't know. I really don't have much more to say. It's just continuing this philosophical debate between the two Caps and how they're both just steadfast in each of their beliefs. One being on the far left, one being on the far right. You know what I'm saying? Basically.
Yeah, they're not getting anywhere. Like one Cap's like, my version of reality is real and blah blah blah. I brought the truth out, and the other one's like, you're full of shit. I'm the truth, motherfucker. Like that's the whole thing.
And it's a lot of words to just keep saying it. I text you when I was reading this. I'm like, I feel like I am having a reading an argument I've had with a crazy ex-girlfriend at one point that's then transcribed back to you when you're reading it back after it's over with, and it's like something you just don't want to revisit. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my god, you're reading all these stupid things you're saying.
Oh man.
Then we're going to close another plot hole here. This is the Punisher plot hole, and he is no longer Hydra. He's back to hunting down all these people that are still Hydra loyal now. So he's blowing people's brains out. This was probably, I don't know, my favorite part in a shitty book, I guess. Seeing Punisher just kill the bad guys again. I
was tricked.
Yeah, he's all healed from double knives through the kneecaps.
Yeah, right. I didn't even think of that when reading this book, and it just makes me even more mad because the way they treat him right here and in the regular series, like Punisher, like I know he loves Cap and I know he respects Cap, but I don't for one fucking minute think that he's fucking this dumb, like so fucking dumb that he's just gonna like follow Hydra. Like I just don't buy it. And then this just what the fuck is this? Yeah, and then this just like turns it over, like, oh yeah, now he thinks he was on the wrong side and he's mad about it, so he's burning Hydra flags. Blah, blah, blah. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah. So you see Nick Fury Jr. looking down on him, and he's like watching Frank Castle just burn down this Hydra fortress, and he's like he's ready. And this is obviously alluding to the Punisher line in Legacy, right, where he's going to be in the War Machine armor.
War Machine, yeah.
Oh god, Shield.
Like, he's ready. Ready for what? He kicks a bunch of Hydra guys. He's ready to go with the War Machine armor now. Like,
yeah.
what the fuck? This is so
Like
fucking stupid.
His knees are all better. He's ready. So then we get another splash page here of the Captain America's debating again. This is mostly the good Cap talking at this point, where he kind of just tells the evil Steve really like why he's come. He's like, I don't really know even what to say about it. to be honest, he basically goes over this story. The important part is that he tells Stevel this story about how when he's helping clean things up, he finds a little boy in the rubble and he goes to help the little boy out of the rubble, and the little boy like shudders away from him like he doesn't trust Cap. And this is now alluding to what's going to be the Mark Waid series, where Cap is on a mission to get his good name back. And I don't know what he's going to do. Take a road trip.
Only part of the book,
traveling hero or something. Yeah.
One page. It's the only part of the book that makes any fucking sense.
Yeah. I know. So yeah, that's what, it's just all leading up into these little legacy plots and things that are going to pick up later. And so Cap says how this, kind of like broke his heart, and it's a scar that will never heal. And you're the one that did it to me. Totally shifting blame onto Steve, the other Steve. And he's like, this is something that, I just realized it'll always be there, whether you were responsible for it or not. It's what I'm here to fight, and what I'll always fight is, if you sum it up, I guess the best way you could say what Steve ends up saying to the other Steve.
And the other one's like, you think you really won, but don't forget the whole entire world saw my side of things, and some of them liked it. So, I mean, when you think of it, though, like right now you got SHIELD agents, you got government people, you got people in their houses like that liked it better with Hydra, probably people in the South or something, like, screw them all, screw them.
Hey, don't go too far. Illinois gives us our most downloads for our Marvel podcast. Don't be hating on the South. I don't know if that's below the Dixon line or not. So
that's Midwest. I consider that's like places like Ohio, Indiana. You guys are safe. That's Midwest, but I'm talking about like Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana. Like, fuck those places.
Yeah,
like,
no, we love you if you're not a total scumbag. That's what he's saying. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, this kind of wraps up with an alert going off at this prison, which means, I don't know, I guess Cap set off an alarm when he got in to alert somebody to come check something out. Like, they probably think the evil Steve is escaping or something's going on. So he gets the hell out of Dodge. He pulls his hoodie up and disappears. And the evil Steve is just left here in this prison. We see all these armed guards come storming into the room. They're like, secure the prisoner. I've got him. I don't know what they thought was going on if he's still in a locked cell. So, but anyway, they like smash him to the ground. Yeah, he's not like that prisoner throwing feces all over the room, like when you watch those prison shows.
Yeah,
standing there.
Oh.
But anyway, they end up taking him down to the ground. And I don't know if they're pushing him up against the wall or down on the ground, one of the two. And the guard that ends up taking him down whispers in his ear, "Hail Hydra," as they, I don't know, what do they, chain him just back up and leave him?
Yeah. And they just leave, chain him back up, make sure he's good, and they walk out the door.
Yeah. He wasn't chained up before, so now he's chained up. He can't do pull-ups anymore. He's going to have a weak upper chest. Can't prepare for his next fight. But yeah, it just says the last words are, this is a war that never ends. And that's Captain America's, the good ones, narration, ending the book. Yeah, I don't know. I can't say what I wrote to wrap this up because my daughter's laying on the ground in front of me. I don't know. Yeah, there you go. You can say it for me. It was just very boring, like very, very boring conclusion. Wrapping up any like lingering question anyone bitched about on the internet after number 10 up in a nice little bow. Nobody's dead, I guess. Because who's
Jones.
the other person they're looking for?
Just Black Widow. Rick Jones is dead. I know
Yeah,
that.
okay,
He's dead
that's
for
the one.
sure.
That's the one that's dead. He didn't come back, but he'll probably come
I
back
guess.
sometime down the line.
Yeah.
When they start unpacking the rubble that is Las Vegas, that's not really rubble because Scarlet Spider's chilling in Las Vegas. But I really thought that death, what was that chick's name? Marguerite or whatever, in Scarlet Spider,
Yeah,
the persona of death on Earth. I thought she was just going to like do something to make it all fine, but she's already out of the book. So I don't know.
God knows what they're going to do about that.
Yeah, that's one of the big kind of matzo balls hanging out of the mouth right there. But yeah, buy, borrow, or forget. I'll do it just short and sweet. I don't suggest anybody, unless you really urge for concluding the series and binding it into a hardcover series later, like spend the $5 it takes to purchase this title. It's not very good. It's not very interesting. If you feel like dealing with like a political debate and reading it on a page in the form of a comic book, you might be down with this. But that's really the only people I can see enjoying it. The Columbus guys said they were excited for the new tie-in stuff when I was talking to them earlier this week. And I don't know how you can be excited for it after that. Like it was just, was like the worst part of the book. The X-Men.
Oh, from the mutant tie-in. Yeah. And it was like Ryan asked me about it too. He's like, "What happened?" I was like, it was nothing. I was like, it was just them being Newtian being torn down. And
he's better off not reading it. He'll have lesser opinion of Beast than than someone already does probably.
Yeah. He's gonna be showing up in Uncanny Avengers, and they didn't even reference that.
Yeah.
In this book at all. Yeah. Like he's on the cover of the next issue. Him and Wonder Man are joining the team. Like
I like to think that was Mystique in a bad transformation of Beast. That's that's more what I think happened there.
That'd be cool, and maybe she went from there in the Beast form over to Astonishing X-Men. That could totally make sense. I like that. See? There you go.
Cat Beast.
Just solve that problem.
So there. Hire me. Anyway. I don't suggest you buy it. It's a forget for me. I didn't like the art. There were a few nice splash pages, and my favorite page was literally page 2 of the book where Cap sneaks in, and it's like the outline of the building showing you how he got in. Other than that, there was nothing really redeeming said in the book, or characters had nothing redeeming to do other than the Punisher. So yeah, forget it. What about you?
All right. I wrote my thoughts down because I had a lot of complaints. So I had to write them down.
You were. Sure you read it from the very beginning, all the way starting with Cap. So it was something you were more invested in. I was in and out of Cap. I read it for reviews and stuff, but that was it.
And it was appropriate. I wrote these notes while taking I wrote these final thoughts while taking a shit. So it was very appropriate. So here it goes. So Secret Empire ended on a real bad note because Spencer went back on his word and did everything that he promised he wouldn't do. If you thought you would find a little bit of a better ending in this Omega issue, you're probably going to be disappointed. What we ended up getting was a conversation between 2 different versions of Green Arrow. I mean Steve Rogers. And some said, I'll get to that in a minute. And some set up for other characters down the road. Newtian has fallen. The Punisher is back on the job, kicking Hydra red shirt asses and burning flags. And one of the 2 lasting consequences of the story is being retracted, with Bucky believing that Widow is still out there somewhere. But hey, Las Vegas is still fucked, right? So yeah.
Who knows?
Sorrentino's art in this was good. It's not awful, but overall this event has me burned out on his style. There is almost no discernible difference between any male or female characters. For example, you could line up Hawkeye, Steve Rogers, and Green Arrow, all drawn by Sorrentino, and 10 out of 10 doctors couldn't tell the fucking difference. You know what I mean? Like there's no discerning qualities between any of his people. Like Steve Rogers could be Clint Barton, it could be Oliver Queen, or it could be Logan with no mutton chops. Like it could be.
He just adds the mutton chops. You're right. Sometimes he gives him little spiky hair.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only difference. Not to mention the color palette that never changes. We get greens, reds, blacks, grays, and maybe if you're
Flags.
lucky, you'll get a little bit of blue if you play your cards right. Like, what the fuck?
I know.
Joe Bennett does all right, but if you read Red Hood this week, then it's definitely not his fucking
Yeah, he can
best
do
book.
better. I know.
Yeah, but one thing, the switching of the back and forth between the two art styles makes the art in this book just as inconsistent as every other issue of Secret
Just
Empire.
because your thoughts are more well organized than mine, because I just wanted to be done with this book. Like, I really don't want to see Sorrentino art for a while. Like, I need a break from his art style. I need a break too. Yeah, after Old Man Logan and then right into this, like I just don't want to see it for a while. I need a long break.
I read like 3-4. I read the 3 reviews that were on Comic Book Roundup for this book, just to see like where my opinion and the opinion of the reviewers differed, and like just in case like there was something that I wasn't gonna think of but would piss me off as I was reading the book, and I wanted a clear opinion on it. Like oh yeah, I forgot about that. Let me write something about that. So fucking Sorrentino is one of those things, and one of the reviewers said like he's got to try to like up his game a little bit and start doing more detail, or like if all of his characters are like pre-made figures as they seem to be, just like with different hair, he's got to start putting detail in that face, because it's just I mean, it was cool at first, but now he's starting to come off like a one-trick pony. And
yeah, it really is. It's wearing that's the perfect way to describe it. It's a one-trick pony thing. Like once you've seen it in one series, if you go into another series with the same type of style and art, like it doesn't feel like you're reading a different story at all. It feels like you're just going on.
and his art made like every issue I read of his made me feel like it took fucking forever to read. Like I was like, is it gonna end? Like,
no. Yeah, I checked page count twice in this issue. Like at like 10, I'm like, fuck, I'm only at 10. And then at 20, I was like, God damn, there's 12 more pages.
Oh yeah, I read it a second time, and like I was speed reading it because I was like, I can't slowly read this again and like pay it. I was like, I read it once and I paid good attention to it. I was like, now I'm just gonna breeze through it this time just so I could get my bearings. And
remember the order things happened in.
Yeah. So there was one thing I liked, and just one thing, that's it. And it's the flashback scene with the good guy Cap is helping with the cleanup in Washington, and he finds the kid under the giant pillar, which the giant pillar should have fucking crushed that kid, if you ask me.
I know.
He extends his hand, the kid recoils and whatnot. And I mean, even though the whole world saw him, like the real Captain America, pop out of thin air and fight Stevel, and they still got a bad taste in their mouth with Captain America. So his name is still tarnished, and that's cool, I guess. I mean, that's one part of the story that had a lasting effect, and it's going to be a whole run, like a 12-issue run on Cap, just about that. And that's not how he feels about it.
That's not an interesting story either. Like if you want to move on from this event that didn't sell all that great, and like the Omega issue is at 4 reviews right now compared to the first issue, which had 29. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's lost interest. I don't think dragging out Cap's redemption story out of this for 12 issues is a good way to get the Cap book selling strong out of the gate. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, and I'm like, I know a lot of people are going to buy it because it's Wade and Samney, but and I'm one of those people. But I hope what it is it's a redemption story. I get that. That's cool. It gives more validity to this story, but also I hope that it's like his own story, but we happen to be dealing with the effects throughout the story. So they could do something cool, but we still have to deal with what happened here. So I just hope it just doesn't pay way too much attention to this story, and it doesn't become more Secret Empire. Like I just want it to be its own thing with Secret Empire lasting effects. Like I don't want to have a whole rehash, and every issue I have to hear the fucking story. Like, like every month they want to remind somebody. So like every issue we're going to get this recap at the beginning of the issue about like, oh yeah, I had this evil Steve and blah, blah, fucking blah, blah. But he's going to come back.
Yeah.
But, and he's actually okay with people, not, being a little not okay with him, because, he always said that, you shouldn't put too much stock in one person. Don't put all your faith in one guy because he could let you down. And this is the type of shit that happens. Blah blah blah. I mean, that was some real Captain America shit where he's like, don't put too much faith in.
That was like the one of the few lines where it felt like he was actually talking.
I mean, that's the most Captain America thing I've heard in the past year and a half come out of Captain America's mouth. So it was nice to hear.
I agree.
But all in all, this issue was a complete fucking bust. It was a repeat of Civil War II, The Oath. I firmly believe, and I'm sure that you agree, this is a waste of time. And the whole purpose is just to juice you for another fucking $5.
Yeah.
And it's a forget altogether, save yourself, run away in the opposite direction.
I know. So. And just to wrap things up, like I was so mad when that guard says Hail Hydra at the end. I was just like, oh, fuck you, Nick Spencer. Like, I don't want to deal with this shit ever again. And like you giving yourself a little pat on the back at the end there just angered me to no end. I was just, oh. I'll block you on Twitter because you fucking annoy me so bad. God damn it!
I hope they don't make. Yeah, I hope they don't make like a giant story. Like let's leave. Like, okay, if we run into more Hydra people down the road, or like, I just don't want the next 12 issues of Captain America, like starting in November, to be about I'm done with Hydra. Like,
yeah,
do it somewhere else. Do it in some other book. Like or leave it for a year or two. Like, make it like. There are cells of Hydra all over the world after Secret Empire, and they're all gathering together, but we're not going to hear about that for like another year or two in real time. I can accept that, and then it blows up in his face down the road. That'd be cool, but I don't want to hear it right away. I'm fucking done with Hydra.
I know.
No more Hydra. I've had enough.
Yeah, I'm worn out too. But yeah, we're not going to cover this book this week on Marvel Madness. We're going to give ourselves a mental break. We covered every other book. If you guys want to hear about 4 other Marvel books besides this one, you can find us there, Marvel Madness Comics Podcast, or you can find us on our individual Twitters. I'm at Beamer3660. Trevitt, where are you at?
I am at Afrin Addict.
And we're there all week, hollering, sharing polls, doing whatever. So find us there. But we're going to wrap this up. Our party is over. We did our part to contribute to the 15-hour extravaganza this week. And we'll talk to you next week, guys. Adios.
Peace.